So this week for the old school Young Bucks segment, we're going to talk about how social media has affected the game and the culture tremendously. I mean, going back to the Stone Age when everything was in black and white and all the shorts were short, was there anything close to social media or like an equivalent?
There was, and let me just say, I have my John Stockton shorts at home. I should wear them, and like, if I stand up, I think you might get a little treat, a little treat.
We can agree. We'll pass on that.
All right, cool. Hey, anything for the show, if I can add value, I will wear my John Stockton banana hugging.
Oh
shirts.
My god!
All right, so was there an equivalent of social media back then? Yes, there was, and his name was Peter Vesey. Now, Peter Vesey was a writer for the New York Post, but he wrote everywhere. And he had this column called Hoop du Jour. And in it, you had rumors, you had gossip, you had some interviews and quotes and whatnot. Very controversial person, but everybody went to Peter Vesey. He was basically Adrian Wojnarowski before Adrian Wojnarowski.
Got you.
He did the pregame for the NBA and NBC, so he was everywhere. He was like the guy. I'm pretty sure that a lot of things that broke, that were supposed to be quiet, came through him. The funny part is Peter Vesey is on social media right now, and he is still like breaking stuff. Not like Woj, but he puts out rumors and gossip where you just have to respect like the old school guy because he was just so connected. But he is like so old that like the agents back in the 80s and 90s are probably like grandfathers now. So,
wow, that's
and
crazy.
not in the game. But back then, social media was Peter Vesey and his column or his appearance on NBA and NBC. So, yeah, we kind of had that, but it was actually a guy and not like,
Right.
keyboard.
No, I think you made great points as far as, rumors and trade rumors and free agency and stuff like that and what's going on around the league. But I think social media today has tremendously changed just the whole culture of basketball in general. Like, I think, Zion, he was like a public figure.
That's a great example.
Like, Zion was like a public figure since he's like 16 years old. And obviously you can compare him to like a LeBron who was on the Slam magazines and the covers. But now it's like we get to interact with Zion now. We get to really see his growth and development. Another example I'll use is like the Ball brothers.
All right.
We've gotten a chance to watch LaMelo grow up from scoring 92 and not being able to touch the rim to now he's like 6'8" and he's like dunking on guys. So it's like we get to see firsthand like these players grow and develop into these superstar athletes and these public figures. And I think another great example of how social media has changed the game is like all these basketball influencers. Like there's this guy from New Jersey. He actually played at Bridgeport College. He goes by the name of Filet, Jesse Jones.
Oh yeah.
He's doing voiceovers on highlight videos.
Right.
He's singing. He's making jokes. He's got his little catchphrases.
What's his catchphrase?
Filet, yeah. That's my guy. I love his videos, and he's doing such big things. He's in NBA commercials now. I just saw him do something, I think, with James Harden on the internet. He just was at some event with Giannis after the season, and he's getting to travel the world all over social media just because of social media. Another guy you could talk about is Brandon Armstrong, B.A. who does like the impersonations.
Right.
So I think social media has become huge for the game.
Definitely, I think like you're talking about the game giving like basically jobs and exposure and all that stuff. The professor, he travels all over the world, videos, everything. They have him come in for like NBA 2K, like video games and stuff, where he's doing like all these dribbles and, they use him for the players and whatnot. Another guy like is Devin Williams, like in the lab, he's out of Cali. I like that guy a lot. But I want to come back to Zion and LaMelo real quick. The reason why that they're so big is because you saw them every single day on some handle. Right. It's either Ball's Life or it's Slam. It's one of them.
Mixtape, all of those things.
House of Highlights. Like you would see them consistently. It was like almost mini TV.
Right.
It's like this is your soap opera that you're watching every single day. The Zion one is a great one because coming out of high school, before he was known, I don't even know if he was nationally ranked.
Right.
But you see him dunking with his right hand, which is incredible to me. Like he's just cocking back with his weak hand. But you see him doing that just like constantly. It's like you have to look at him and like, oh, maybe we should rank him. Yeah, maybe you should rank him. If he doesn't have those highlights, does he go to Duke? I don't know.
Right.
Maybe he stays with the Gamecocks in South Carolina. And he's not highly recruited. Would he be the number one pick? Maybe not. Maybe it's RJ Barrett, because he was a big deal in Canada, like Canada's best young player. Steve Nash is his godfather. So without social media, some of these guys that became big maybe aren't as big. So they have to thank like Twitter. They have to thank Instagram for where they are, especially the balls.
Right. Pause.
Oh, yeah. My bad. But especially those players and their dad who leveraged social media, leveraged media coverage in such a huge way. Right. Granted, a lot of people didn't like it or thought he was annoying. Me personally, hey, go for it. If you can own your own brand and your sons don't mind, then go, do it. Because think about it. He created his own sneaker company. He created his own league. Granted, they all failed, but just to have that opportunity
to do that
doesn't happen without social media. That doesn't happen without any of that stuff.
Right.
Because it's like, who are these guys? It's like, oh, you didn't see them? Freaking LaMelo Ball shot from half court. It got like 50 million views on just YouTube alone. It's like social media is huge. So for me, being an old school guy, I just wonder, like, what if we saw, or if social media was around back then, and we saw these guys that no one would know, but they'd know them through social media. Like, how much would that have that affected the NBA? Like now, because you might have had some guy like Ernie Badurndern or somebody, right? Just like doing 360s from the free throw line. Imagine if you saw that, like, oh my God, let's pay attention to this guy.
He had nowhere to post it. He had no one to show.
Right, exactly.
He didn't have that outlet.
And that's what happens with like a lot of these like street ball players, like I don't know, Earl Manigault. That's going way back. But the dude was like probably my height, or could grab the top of the backboard. Like his trick was to like put money on there, and he would snatch it. I mean,
that's nuts.
Imagine if you saw that on social media.
Yeah, you were going crazy for that.
Yeah, it's like.
I think another great example, as based right out here in New York, is this group of kids. They call themselves Jelly Fam.
Oh yeah.
I think they're changing the game tremendously, and they have yet to have a guy that's gone to the NBA yet. Those guys are still young. They're still like in college and in high school and stuff. Like whether you talk about Isaiah Washington, who went to St. Ray's and is now over at Minnesota. You got Javon Quinterly, who I believe is
he went to Villanova.
Okay,
but now he's transferring because he wasn't getting any burn in Nova. So that's actually Coach B, right? Coach B is the guy that introduced us basically. Like what's his face? Over there in Villanova, that's his coach. Like that's his guy.
Yeah.
He loves Jay Wright. But yeah, no, it's like you're right. All these kids, like some even in grade school, they make their own group. Right. They have their hashtag and whatnot.
And it's like the Jelly Fam guys, like basically what they're known for is like they have like this kind of special finger roll almost. And it's like you walk in gyms all over and you got little kids, grown men, everyone is trying to do that layup and screaming out jelly. Like
jelly!
It's a huge thing. Like
crazy.
These kids, they have changed the game, literally. Like they're changing the game. And I think with social media, it's tremendous how huge of an impact you can have But I will say we can also take a look at the other end of the spectrum and say, is it always positive?
Right.
I don't know. I don't think so. Like, we can take a look at the Carmelo Anthony situation that just happened.
Right.
And how, he was basically seen on a boat with this woman that wasn't Lala, and it was Lala's birthday, and he sent her this nice birthday text, and then a few hours later there was pictures taken of him on the boat with this woman, which later on he said that it was one of his friend's wives and that they were just relaxing. And I think that was kind of invasive, where if there was no social media, that wouldn't have been blown out of proportion. Right. But because there's social media, now he has to go and address it and explain his situation and explain what's going on.
Right.
Another example you could take is Jello. When he was caught stealing. When he was caught stealing, I feel like that probably still would have gotten out, but because of social media, it was blown
and because of who he was.
Way out of proportion.
Definitely.
Way out of proportion. So I think whether you can say it's good or bad, it does have its pros and cons, but we both can agree that it's definitely changing the game and the culture of the game as well.
I mean, just humanity. Right. You know what I'm saying? But you're right. It is a sort of live by the sword, die by the sword sort of deal. And with like just the basketball culture, it has been huge. But another negative that we have to think about, we did mention jelly. Like all these kids trying to jelly, they're not focusing on fundamentals.
Yeah, right.
Horrible.
Right, horrible.
As a coach and as a player that appreciates the game, loves the game, you see all these kids trying to like make their own videos and put it out there and gain some clout.
Right.
And they put value in that as opposed to
being able to make a right hand layup, a left hand layup.
So it's definitely bad in that way. And that's something that I hate. I think some of this stuff is like enjoyable, it's entertaining. But when I see little kids, like, because I also train, when I see little kids trying to do this stuff, it's like, yeah, coach, watch this jelly. I'm like, oh my God, really? Do I have to watch this jelly? And it's just horrible. And, that's why us old guys get on you young guys, because you don't have any more fundamentals. Like, all you want to do is, like, dunk the ball, get that crazy block and whatnot. Now, when I play against, like, guys like your age, I just, like, head fake paratroopers club, and I just like drive right by. Yeah. It's like, I didn't give them my dribble. Why are you gonna attack me so hard? Chop your feet, but it doesn't happen because everybody wants to have the highlight.
Yeah, I do think that I think social media has a huge part to do with it. I do think we live in an era of microwave basketball right now, and another reason I think is because of what's going on in the NBA. Steph Curry is another guy that's changing the game as well. Everyone. Like, Steph Curry a few years ago may not have had a huge impact on the game because of his frame.
Right.
He's not super athletic,
right.
But because he's so skilled and he can shoot the ball from anywhere in the game, he's given those other guys like him with that same frame, those small guys who aren't overly quick, aren't overly athletic, jumping out of the gym, he's giving them a chance to dominate the game as well. So I think whether you want to say that's positive or negative, I think that is also a big change in the game as well.
I think it's positive for those guys that have his frame, or any small player, any guard, because it just boosts your confidence. Like, I have a place in this game. Like, if I can work on my jump shot, have it be consistent, not necessarily shoot 30 feet like it's nothing, like Curry does, but if you can get a consistent jumper, there's going to be a place for you. If you can shoot off the catch, shoot off the dribble, shoot off contact, there's a place for you. But you do have to work on that, and that's something that I like about Curry for the guards, right? Because I'm small, so I love that. But for all those big guys that want to be Curry, that's when I go like that. Yes, the game is, perimeter play, shooting threes and all that stuff, but there's like almost absolutely no post play anymore. And being an old school guy, it's like, which is closer and a better shot, from the block or 27 feet away? It's like, getting the block, because I see big guys that can definitely get down there, get position, get position on the guy, stay in front, catch the ball, but then they want to do a step back and hit a three. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Stay down low.
Yeah,
it's like, do both. I don't mind.
At least be able to do both.
Right. I wouldn't want to limit anybody. It's like, when I see a kid that I coach that's 12 years old, but he's 6 feet tall, I'm going to tell them, listen, work on your handle. Definitely work on your handle. Work on your perimeter game. But also work down on a block. That only makes sense because if you're down on a block and you can handle, forget about it. You're going to be like Hakeem Olajuwon. Right? If you're a big and you can go outside and face up on a defender, that's great. But if that's all you do and you don't go on the block at all, guess what? The team's going to send help defenders on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're not... Like, I want there to be a post player where a guard will have to double down. The big recognizes where the double's coming from. Throw it out for the three. Like, no one's on them.
Win ball games
three.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, I love Curry for small guards, give them confidence. But I hate it when bigs, that's all they freaking do. Yeah. It's like, I want to kill somebody, except they're bigger than me, so I can't. And I'd go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I have to say about that.
Nah, yeah. I think I have a few more examples of how social media has been impactful. One thing I can talk about is how just this free agency that just passed, there was a hashtag on Twitter called the Kawhi Watch. Like, I think that's huge. Like, people were super tuned in to see what he's doing and, just figure out what decision he's going to make. So I think that, obviously, before social media, people were still tuned in. But now it's like we get the information instantly. And I think that's pretty cool.
But do you think that could be like an overload of information? It's like everyone's using that hashtag. No one's really saying anything new because it's Kawhi Leonard. He's not telling anybody. And that just like... It's like information overload, or it's just like wasted space on social media. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's entertainment, though.
It's entertainment.
Definitely entertainment.
And it's definitely a phenomenon, with hashtags. But sometimes I think it's kind of empty for the most part until that final, Kawhi's going here.
Right.
So. And
one more thing I want to talk about is how social media has created an avenue for trainers to brand themselves.
Oh, man. It's helped me make like $5.
Right. Right. But no, seriously, like I feel like it's just become super beneficial to players and trainers who want to connect and, work on their game. Like talk about a guy like Chris Brickley.
Right.
Who's been able to work out with some of the top tier players in the league. And he'll set up open runs he'll have like some of the top NBA guys. He'll have a mix of college guys in there.
He's some high school guys. That's the thing. Like Cole Anthony, like 2 years ago. It's like amazing. You can't buy that experience.
Like, I don't think I've heard. Well, there's probably been instances where high school players have gotten to play with, some of the top NBA players.
No, that's happened. Yeah.
But I feel like with social media, it's happening so much more now. Like I feel like it's not the norm, but it's becoming the norm almost. Like
no, it is, and you can tell also when you look at these 5-star prospects. If you look at their followers, and I haven't really done this, but I know it's a fact. You look at their followers, NBA guys are following them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I saw a video on Instagram, and it was basically because it was Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, he's a basketball junkie.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw a video of him. He's scrolling through the gram, and he's on LaMelo Ball's Instagram, and he's commenting, like, he's in the comments, like, what are you going to do if they force you left? What? Imagine, like, you're one of the top high school guys, and you got Kevin Durant trying to give you pointers and critique your game?
Crazy, man.
That must do wonders for your confidence.
Oh, big time.
Wonders, like to have that encouragement. And there was another comment that he made about the Ball brothers and how a lot of people say that they're spoiled and that they're growing up rich. And Kevin Durant, he made a great point. He said you don't have to come from poverty to be a good basketball player.
Right. True. Although, like in another segment, I did say I like John Morant better because he's grimy.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
But you
Barrett,
can,
but no, it's a good point, and obviously. Listen to Kevin Durant, not to me, because Kevin Durant has more credibility. He has more street cred than I do. But no, it's a good point that he made, But he doesn't get to make that point unless there was a social media.
Exactly.
So, that was a good segment, and I got to give props to my man Z over here. He came up with this segment, so props to him. And one more prop before we go. Talk about trainers on the gram. Follow Habits Basketball. That's Coach Brian Quar. Nassau Community College women's team. They were ranked number 4 last year. They're looking to go number 1 this year. That's my man. I actually coached with him too. His AAU team. So Habits Basketball, follow him. But also follow us on Instagram. Basketball State of Mind. Go on Facebook. Search Basketball State of Mind. We're on there too. Email info@basketballstateofmind. And you can follow Z over here on his personal.
Z the God, no periods, no underscores.
Because no one's dealing with all that stuff. He's just straight up. And you can follow me at DV Hoops. Although I'm private, so I'm gonna see like who you are before, because I'm old. Like I can't trust no one. I'm old, you know. That's how I grew up. But yeah, so follow us. Thank you for watching the show, listening to the show. Make sure you tell your friends. The more, the merrier. And you can talk about how much of an idiot that DV guy is.
Tell me about it.
And how ugly Z is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
That's it for now. Thank you very much. I'm DV.
I'm Z.
And we're out.
We're out of here.